The other day, I saw a warrior who needed one more member of their group. They were looking for a tank. Take a look in the mirror, buddy. You are a warrior. You are the tank. This is my quick tank guide. I have a full Fury Prot tank guide. However, to tank dungeons, you do not need to be Prot at all. You don't need a single point in protection to tank a dungeon. Just use your leveling spec. Ideally arms. We'll go over the talents. But first I want to show you a macro because sometimes you might need to change from, sword and shield. And so we're going to go over the macro and then I'm going to be going over tips for tanking. But first the macro. Stop casting equip slot 16 Corpse Maker, equip slot 16 Outlaw Saber, equip slot 17, that's the shield, the offhand, Arctic Buckler. You need to stop casting because if you have a Heroic Strike queued with a big slow weapon that's 3.8 speed and you're hitting your button, you're wondering, why am I not able to put a shield on? Until that Heroic Strike happens, you will not be able to switch your shield. But if you stop the Heroic Strike and turn it into a normal auto attack, then you will instantly put the shield on. So as you're leveling, you're going to use your leveling spec to tank. So to tank low level dungeons, you do not need to be protection. You do not need a single point in protection talents. In fact, the best tanking spec is going to be using sweeping strikes. It's going to do so much AoE damage and that allows you to generate threat on multiple mobs. Now you notice I don't have Impale here. When you're low level, you don't have a lot of crit. So in your 20s, 30s, there's not really much point in having Impale. Around the level of 45, when you get 5% crit from Cruelty, from Axe Spec, your base crit, now you're at 15% crit. Zerker Stance, 3% more crit. Some other gear giving you agility and crit. You might hit 20% crit. Now we can consider picking up Impale in lieu of you're not going to take improved charge. You don't need improved Heroic Strike. What else can we get rid of? So your talent tree might look something like this instead. Now my character is only level 32, so I'm using some clips from Hardcore from Bloodsail Buccaneers. Yeah, my UI is not as pretty as it is now. The other day, a viewer said his UI used to look like it had the Dark Portal on it. That was pretty funny. The most important things about tanking is holding threat, of course, and I'll give you tips and tricks on how to do that. Staying alive, that means knowing when do you have to put a shield on, when do you have to go to defensive stance with the shield on, that kind of thing. Having a potion on a quick health potion, quick button, keybound. You need to position mobs, stack them up so that the group can damage them effectively. You need to know when do you charge in, because that's going to generate you rage, or when do you pull back and line of sight. And how do you line of sight? And what things can you line of sight on? You need to have a watchful gaze and see when patrols are coming. Because if you're just kind of tunnel visioned, a patrol might just walk into you and cause a lot of issue. So, that's the main thing. And it's not that tough, it's not that scary. But being a good tank requires good judgment. And good judgment comes from bad judgment. Now, I have a full tank guide on Fury Prot tanking. It's 2 hours long. If you want to watch it, you'll learn a lot about the nuances of threat, how threat works, a lot of basics. Probably the first 20 to 30 minutes, you'll learn a lot of the basics. The remainder is going over gear selection for max level 60 stuff, and boss per boss strategy. So check that video out if you want to really get in on the nitty gritty of how threat works. This is just a quick start guide on how to, gain the confidence to get in there. But this, all these Reddit memes of, oh, I'm committed to DPS. What is that? If you're committed to DPS, play a rogue or a mage or something. If you're going to be a warrior, you got to do it all, man. The best way to generate a lot of threat is to charge in, sweeping strikes, Zerker stance, blood rage, whirlwind, defensive stance. You will just go with a huge amount of cleave damage, and then you go defensive stance, and you sunder, whatever. Now, when you don't have sweeping strikes because you're lower level, 19 and lower, it's just sunder, heroic strike, and revenge. Revenge generates a lot of threat. When you get cleave, now you can throw some cleaves in there. Even though they don't do as much threat as a heroic strike, it spreads the damage out. Then you have sweeping strikes at level 30, and 36 is whirlwind. 36 is when a warrior really starts to take off. It's a magical time. That's really all there is to it. Know and be confident with your shield swap macro. Sometimes you need to know, okay, these mobs hit hard, I'm going to use a shield. These mobs don't hit that hard, I can afford to use a two-handed weapon. I think tanking is a lot of fun. You get hit, you generate a lot of rage. Yeah. I'm going to leave you with that. If you have any questions, let me know. But the main thing is just get in there, get it done. If you enjoyed the video, drop me a sub and a comment. Catch me live on my Twitch channel, Dwarflord TV, to connect with me or say hi to me in game on any of my characters. Dwarflord out.
And they say that the Dwarflord could save us. I'm not gonna cave here and wait. I'll hold on to the beard of the Dwarflord. Watch as we